Have you ever argued with someone and in the end you figured out, well, you were both kind of right? Actually, in this fast-paced world, the reactions to some topics, to some ideas are so quick, so fast, and often so short-sighted. So what if there's more to every story than meets the eye? Hello, hello, hello. You are listening to 1 week at a time, where we discover topics like living mindfully in your day-to-day life and unapologetically becoming your true, authentic self. I'm Vanessa, your host, and today let's talk about why you can be right, but I am right as well. Have you ever wondered how something can be so crystal clear to you, yet someone else has no clue why you see things the way you do? Or in general, two people can look at the exact same thing and experience something completely different. Like, for example, we can both be outside, see the blue sky, see the same flower in the field, see the same whole scenario in front of us. And both of us will feel, will see, will focus on something completely different. Like we're in the same, in the same situation. Or I like the example of someone reading a book and the other person is reading the same book. They have the exact same words written, the exact same names, the exact same storyline. But in the end, both of them will have completely different pictures in their head. It's so interesting. And I think we all know, I think we all know, at least I know it for quite a long while, this picture of the woman where you can see the old woman and the young woman in it. It's actually called My Wife and My Mother-in-Law from William Eli Hill. I hope I pronounced him correctly. It's from 1915, so it's super old. But what we can see in this picture, someone's looking at it and will either focus on the young woman looking kind of away, kind of shying away, or is like untouchable in her position, and the older woman who's kind of like with this old face that really had lived their life. And for you and me, it might be something different when we look at this picture. Like you see the old woman, I see the young woman, or vice versa. Actually, I can see both, but one of them pops into the eye first. And I like this example because it's about perspective. It's where probably, for example, let's see you've been with your grandma yesterday and you've had a really nice time with her, enjoying it. And then you're seeing this picture. It's more likely probably that you will see the old lady first instead of the young lady. Or if you're more focused on youth and staying young and looking young and how to prevent everything, it's likely that you will see the young lady first. And I know some people that have difficulty focusing on which one of them to see. Like they see one, but they have trouble finding the other woman in this picture. And it's always depending on which side we stand at the moment. And that is the same with opinions, with behavior, with fast judgment sometimes. It's where we are in life, we think and act like this what's in our head. It's like our blueprint. And that's what I actually see when opening social media at the time. Like I see so many short-sighted opinions, I would say. It's been a while since I responded to a post or something on Facebook. I don't remember what the topic was, but I had an opinion and I was like, well, I see you guys talking there, but I just want to put my opinion into the pot as well. So what did I do? I typed a comment. I was not judgy. I was just like, in my opinion, just giving out information and saying, hey, have you considered this point of view as well? And what I noticed is that, oh my God, the comments were so fast, like against me, like, Dan, 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 Dan. It's like, okay, I just wanted to say there is a different side of view as well. Like you can see things from a different angle as well, but it was not welcome. And with that experience, like, getting rejected and not even listened to, but just like, nope, it's so wrong what you say. I was like, okay, I will not respond so fast to any other comments in Facebook, in Instagram, in TikTok and whatsoever, and discuss topics that are likely very emotional for a lot of people. Because from that one, I learned, I was like, okay, I don't have the time, the energy, the whatsoever to do that. I have my opinion. I am fine with that. And I am talking about it like I do in this podcast, for example. But in general, like on a random post, I just don't do that any longer. I don't know how it's for you, but just let me know in the comments on YouTube or in Spotify or in the Instagram post how it is for you, how you like responding to comments and like going into the discussion with strangers. I'm really interested. For me, it's done. And what I notice is that hate is getting out so fast. It's like a battlefield outside. There was this one post. I mean, don't mess with the beehive, you know, the ones that follow Beyonce, but there was this one post where she wore something. And a friend of mine, it was a Vogue post. I remember that. A friend of mine put a comment on there about, well, actually, she's a very well-dressed woman, but what is she wearing here? Dude, this is Vogue. Like, you stand for fashion. This was her opinion. I'm just quoting her in a way. And what she received was so much hate so fast. Like the people got to her, hey, look at what you're wearing in your profile pic and you think you're so much better than her. And she was like, no, this is not what I said. It's just like usually she stands for something. And in this kind of post or in this kind of picture, she's different. And I wonder what this has to do with how she felt Vogue is portraying fashion usually. So the beehive was like straight on to her and was so fast and did express their opinion. And I think sometimes it gets out of hand and out of context so fast. I don't know if you've noted the recent American Eagle campaign with Sydney Sweeney, where it says Sydney Sweeney has great jeans, like the jeans, the denim, and it was crossed over and the word jeans, like the clothes you wear, is marked under there. And this campaign, boy, is going so wrong. It's really in a nutshell what I think is wrong with the internet these days. Like we have a beautiful, really, she is beautiful woman in her jeans and they're making some wordplay as a marketing gag and the internet goes wild. Like I don't know what they all say and I don't want to quote things because it's really not my opinion. And there's so much, like so many people say, well, if there would be Lizzo or Beyonce in that picture, no one would say something because then it would fit into the modern society of diversity. But if there's a really beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed woman, something is wrong all of a sudden. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get why people are so mad about this campaign. I mean, American Eagle really won in this one. Their stocks went up and everything. But it's in a nutshell, as I said, sometimes where I think like people are so fast expressing their opinion. And sometimes it's really not more. It's an opinion. Like they think the campaign should be something else. And this is just one example of what's going on out there. And I sometimes think like, dude, don't we have any other problems to focus on instead of like hitting on this woman that's just doing her job? I mean, when she's working as an actress, no one is saying that this role should be covered with another actress because she's too beautiful for that. Well, I don't get it. And I just want to share my opinion. And there's one thing that really stood out to me. There was this one influencer I followed for a while. She's a German girl and she moved to Spain a while before I planned doing that. So I followed her to see how her life is, how she made it, because she sometimes talked about moving and she moved to the same area more or less that I wanted to go. And I thought, interesting, then I can see her life there already, picture myself and learn from like what barrios, what parts in the city I could move to and whatnot. And as I said, she's an influencer and she shares a lot of her life. So there's three things that really stood out to me that were like in a nutshell, bam, 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 on that woman. The first thing was that she's living in Spain and she was so happy that they had air conditioning in their home. Honestly, I get it. If you live in Spain, if you don't have air conditioning, sometimes, especially in the heat waves, and we have a heat wave right now, and we're getting one next week where we're like in the mid 30s, and this is super warm, where you're happy if you at least can put on the AC and sleep properly. Because sleeping in this temperature, I did that for 2 years. We didn't have AC for 2 years. Gosh, you don't know what to take off. You don't know what not to wear any longer because it's just so warm. And she got so much hate for like moving to Spain and being happy about having an AC because she knew it would be hot in Spain. And I was like, yeah, you don't get the point. I mean, she's not the only one here having an AC. It's getting more and more like we're living in a house that's a new built house, and they installed heating, which you need in the winter, trust me. And they installed heating and AC as well. So it's something that's coming more and more. It wasn't common for a while, yes, but now it's getting more and more because the people love to just live. And me working in home office, to be honest, I sometimes like it as well. Like I can focus and I can cool it down. And I don't do it always, but sometimes it's really nice to have the option. But as I said, she got so much hate for that. And then she got pregnant. Oh my goodness, you can't imagine. This woman got pregnant. I mean, oh wow, it's so good for her. She wanted to, her partner wanted to, and then they were pregnant. And again, she got so much hate because she was talking about being pregnant, going to the doctor's office and sharing. I mean, she is an influencer sharing her life. Of course, this is a big part of her life. And she got so much hate from women that said like, well, I find it very triggering that you talk about that topic because I can't get pregnant. And don't get me wrong, I'm so sorry for a woman that has the wish to get a child and can't out of whatever reason. This is not what I'm talking about. I feel for these women that had a miscarriage and that just the pain is deep. But honestly, just click unfollow and let that woman be pregnant in peace, because you don't have to follow her. The internet is so big. It is so wide. But all of a sudden, people feel the urge to like just hit on that woman with words and say like, you are pregnant and I'm not. And all of a sudden you're the bad girl. I can't get into a little rage here. I notice I will stop right now. But in the end, yeah, okay, let's just finish with it. To like just put this nutshell together, and then I'm calming down again because she actually had a premature birth. And guess what? The people had their opinion as well, because it was her fault and because she did this and that wrong and this and that pregnancy week and whatsoever. And the opinions that got to that woman that really was struggling with this premature birth. I mean, she was in the hospital all the time with her baby, taking care that he's good. And it was really a tough time. I mean, of course, she shared it publicly on social media, yes, but that doesn't mean that you can be rude or that you can even say to a mother that she did something wrong in her pregnancy when you're not with her 24/7. Can you? Well, I'm done with my little rage, but I just wanted to share what I noticed out there, what is going on, and how fast and how loud opinions sometimes can get, even though when you're not even a friend to this person, but just a follower. People feel engaged to like put out their opinions, whether you want to hear them or not. And there are really interesting ones out there. And I think there's as many opinions out there as there are people. This is actually fascinating because there are so many point of views that we can take, that we can think about, that we didn't even have in mind, and we can learn so much from each other that I love. I mean, of course, when I talked about this example that she was pregnant and the people were triggered by their own stories, yes, this is a point of view we can learn as well. At one point, I was scrolling through the stories of friends and there was this huge spider all of a sudden. And actually, I'm not so cool with spiders when they pop up in front of my face on my screen. I really have struggled with that. And I just sent a private message to the person like, hey, I don't mind you posting what you do and I don't want to tell you what to do. But honestly, I just kind of almost throw my phone away because I was so shocked. And I had an interesting conversation with this person after her, because she was like, oh, I didn't know there's really so many phobics out there that really have a problem even seeing something on their screen. Like for me, it's a shock reaction sometimes that I kind of freeze and I don't know how to swipe it away, because then I would have to touch the spider. If you're phobic, you will totally understand what I'm saying. If not, you might think I'm just a weirdo, like, get your shit together, Vanessa. But honestly, for a phobic, this is really an intense experience. And sometimes you can't just get out of it. It just happens and we have to live with that. But then sometimes we can get into an open conversation instead of like putting out like, what are you? Why do you do that? Don't you think of other people? No, let's just talk about that. And what I learned is that someone will always have an opinion. Someone will always not like what you're doing, what you're saying. And sometimes this happens in friendship as well. I don't agree with every opinion a friend has, for example, but that doesn't mean that I can't still be friends with them or even have an open conversation about this topic with them, because I want to understand why they think the way they think and why they do what they do. And also, others only see a tiny fragment of what you're doing. Let's stick to the example of social media or to your friends. Like, you don't spend 24/7 with them. You're not in every encounter they have with their colleagues, with their friends, with their family. So you never get the full picture, even though you might know the person very well. And there is a reason for them to think why they think. Maybe because of recent events or events in their life in general, or because someone they look up to had a certain opinion and they attach that to themselves. Like, you never know why someone is doing what they're doing. And in this context, there's this quote, which I like really, really much. And it's, "And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music." And I like that one. It's like, imagine yourself, you don't hear music, you never heard music in your life maybe, and you look through a window, you're walking through the streets, it's dark, and you're looking into a window and you see people dancing, and you've never experienced music or whatsoever, and they're moving and you're like, what are they doing? And that's why I like this quote, because even when you've heard music, sometimes they're listening to a completely different kind of music, moving differently, and you're like, this doesn't match how I experienced music and dancing. So what are they doing? And they seem insane to you because you don't have the full picture, the full range of everything going on like these human beings you just watch through the window as a third person viewer. And sometimes everyone has a point. There's this picture with the couple, a woman, a man, and a donkey. And there's 4 ways in which you see the couple acting with a donkey. The first one is both are riding the donkey, and there's 2 people in the background talking about them. And they're like, 2 people on one animal's back? This is really not cool. This poor animal, how are they treating it? And in the next frame, you see just the man riding the donkey and the woman has to walk. And the opinion is clearly like, what a guy he is. He lets his woman walk and he's sitting on that donkey. Like, who does he think he is? And then you have it the other way around, and only the woman is riding the donkey. And people are saying, like, is he stupid? Why is she only riding the donkey and he has to walk? Don't they know? Like, why are they doing that? Why don't they both walk or whatsoever? Like, they have an opinion about that one as well. And in the last frame, it's like, okay, the donkey is riding by itself or walking by itself, and they are walking next to it. And even in that picture, people have an opinion like, why aren't they not using the donkey? Why are all of them walking? Why don't they ride the donkey? Don't they know what donkeys are made for? And what if all of them are right? What if we all are right? We all have a reason to see the world the way we do, as I already said. And what if there is actually no right or wrong? Because there's so much, I always say, there's not just black and there's not just white, but there's so much gray in between. The scale is so huge that there's so many truths out there and so many right things, views, opinions, that we all kind of are right and that we all kind of are wrong at the same time. But what if we found together, instead of reacting with hate or arguing or discussing, really being open and having an open discussion without confronting anyone, without being rude, without overstepping the boundary of facts and getting personal, which happens so many times. Like, you are stupid, you are whatsoever, just because you don't think or feel the way I do. And I think that's not cool. And I always try to see for myself as many views as possible. I would talk to kind of every person. That doesn't mean I want to be friends with every person, but I would love to understand opinions and point of views that are so contrary to mine, because I want to see why the person thinks the way she does. And maybe, just maybe, there's a tiny fragment I am learning that I can adapt to myself, and that's part of my reality from then on. And sometimes it is good to say, okay, I agree to disagree. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. And in the end, we can both be humans living our life peacefully next to each other and just not harm each other and just be like, yep, you go your way, I do mine, and we're both cool with it. So yeah, I think it's great to be critical. It's great to look behind the curtain. It's great to see what is going on really, instead of just accepting things and instead of just accepting opinions or conclusions someone else took and adapting them to ourselves. But I always think, to what end? Is it really worth fighting for it? Is it really a topic where we're so passionate, which is so important for us, that we're ready to put out the forks and go and fight for it? Or, as I say, pick your battles wisely. Like, I always think, okay, is it worth my energy, my peace of mind to argue with that person about that topic that I don't even care so much about? I don't know the person. I don't know the circumstances. I only see the text and the profile pic, for example, on the internet. Is it really worth it? Is it even worth it arguing with a person I like that much? Or just say, okay, I see you come from a whole different point of view and I'm at peace with that. And let's just switch topics so we can stay friends or just stay in this situation together and just be fine with each other. And like, that's why so many people avoid, for example, on Christmas or in bigger gatherings, to talk about politics or whatsoever, because this is always a heated topic, which can really get big and too big in sometimes situation that it just doesn't work out. You see what I mean? Or do you get what I mean? I think I've made a really long sentence to come to that point. And as I said, there's not this one truth. There's not just this one truth that we all have to agree on. There's so many point of views. There's so many possibility to look at things. And for me, when I don't agree with an opinion and I really don't want to argue, and I really feel like, no, this is not my battle, I go with the words of Thumper from Bambi, who said, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. And I like that one. I like that one so much. And we learned it as a child already. I mean, Bambi is so old. I think there's no one out there that hasn't seen it. And yeah, sometimes I like to just stick to that and be a nice human and just be like, yep, not my battle. Not my battle. I'm not going into that rabbit hole and I'm not putting on my punching gloves. Not worth it. And with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Share what's on your mind with me as well, but let's stay nice together. If you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Think of Thumper. And yeah, subscribe to the show if you haven't already to not miss an upcoming episode. You can just click follow on Spotify, on your podcast app, on YouTube, and just stay in contact with me. Or you can follow me on Instagram, for example, where I share some behind the scenes and how my life is behind the mic, what happens in my life on a day-to-day basis. And I thank you so much, as I said, for listening, for being with me. And I wish you the most beautiful week ahead. See you next Sunday. Bye, 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 bye.